Howdy, y'all. I'm hanging out here today in my in-ear monitor Fortress. We call it Fortress Intraoralis. That's Latin for in-ear fortress. I'm a nerd, and I'm in the Fortress today because I wanted to talk to you about the Kefine Quatio. Kefine Quatio is the latest release from Kefine, and I consider it to be the bigger, better brother to the Kefine Klean, which you can see up on the top right there on my wall. The Kefine Klean is a top pick at the $50 price point, and Kefine's looking to expand their offerings into the hybrid world, right? So now we have the Kefine Quatio showing up on the scene. The Quatio is a 2 dynamic driver, 2 balanced armature hybrid IEM, and Kefine's newest flagship. We're about to open up that box. We're going to take a look at how it looks. We're going to take a listen to how it sounds, and then I'm going to give you my final impression and tell you how it ranks within the rest of my collection. This is EZG Audio. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and let's get her started. This is the first live unboxing Greta's old seen in her whole life. My table is named Greta. I've unboxed many IEMs on her before, but none on camera before, so we're making history. All right, let's take this sucker off here. All right, there they are, the Quatio in all their glory. Somebody said on my Reddit post, it looks like the Kefine Klean gained weight. Yeah, they got a little chubby. I'm going to say they got jacked, though, just knowing how they sound already. Oh, yeah, I already opened this thing. Sorry. I really wanted to hear them. I didn't want to wait, and I didn't even realize I was going to be doing this video unboxing until just a little bit ago. So, per video unboxing, let's show me opening the package. It's slightly staged, but this is sort of how I found it. We have our ear tips. We have a wealth and a bounty of ear tips that Kefine is giving us. Got our vocal tips. It looks like a balanced vocal kind of deal. Usually when it has the darker core in there and the light outer silicone tip, that's usually going to be a balanced, and then that's your vocal forward tip, the larger bore. What we got here? It looks like, wow, we got options, man. And then these, oh yeah, this is like a more dense silicone, so it's going to give you a heartier bass response, a bit more narrow bore, so that's going to, you know, give you that low pass effect, and that's going to allow less treble through, right? And this seems like, I think this is like an even, yeah. Wow, they're giving you 4 different types of sound signatures. Kefine, you spoil us. Kefine, what are you doing? Wow, yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. I didn't really think about it before because I always tip roll. I always use Tang Sankai balanced, right? I always use those. So seeing this, I'm just noticing and appreciating it for the first time. Don't mind me. Let's keep going. All right. I don't know why I'm showing you the underside. Ooh, chunky boy. All right. Got our user manual and warranty card down there. Good stuff. Let's see. If this is boring, you guys gotta tell me. This is my first video review. So if you like don't want to see this crap, like let me know. If you do want to see this crap, like let me know. All right. Yeah, we're good. All right, it's good enough on that. Put the ear tips to the side for right now. Be nicer to the ear tips. Okay, this I was pretty impressed with. All right. This is one of the nicer cases I have seen included with some IEMs. And before I get too far, this actually retails for $129.99. When I unboxed it, I did not know MSRP. I assumed it was around $200 because this, it's a pretty nice case. I mean, it's decent. Like the wealth of ear tips that you're getting, the real nice case, some more, packaging stuff. I'm so violent with the paper, with the accessories. I'm not as violent with the IEMs. Okay, put those away for right now, and check this bad boy out. Yeah, I like that. I really, really like the cable. It's modular. You have your 4.4 and your 3.5. You can do single ended, you can do balanced, you can do what you want, right? And it looks really, really cool. It comes with your standard, strap out. I don't really use those. And got this, like, what color is that even? Brass? This darker, kind of brassy, beautiful 4-core weave. This is the kind of cable that really does it for me. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, I just really, really like this cable. This is a nice cable right here. You can ascertain for yourself whether or not you think it's a nice cable. You have to listen to me. But look what it looks like against the wood. Tell me it's not a nice cable. That's a nice cable. All right, so we got the 4.4 on there. I'm going to leave the 4.4 on there for the sound impressions, and we're going to take a look at these earphones right here. We're going to put them on the cable. Have our left, have our right. We are looking. All right. I just rhymed right with right. That's right. So I do like the form factor of the Quatio. It looks pretty chunky, but it doesn't feel as big in my ears as you would expect. Let's get the nozzle here. The nozzle is kind of standard fare these days. Most nozzles are fairly large, wide. Hold on one second. Let me grab the calipers. Alrighty, guys, we're back. We got calipers, and I'm getting about a 6.4748. Yeah. At the widest, I'm getting about consistently a 6.47, so I'm calling it a 6.47. That is neither the largest nor the smallest diameter nozzle that I've seen lately, but it tends to be on the, once you get past the super budget, your nozzles get real thick and real wide real quick. I have no problem with that. I'm a fairly large-eared individual, so that's the only problem with me giving you my impression on that. I don't really find too many IEMs that don't fit my ears well. If they're small, I'll use a larger ear tip to fill the space, and if they're large, hey, I got room to spare. So I find them comfortable. I find that they're a pretty good angle, a nice taper to the nozzle there. Where's my camera? Yeah, there it is. And it does it for me. Oh, and while we're here, let's look at that. Ooh, yeah, I like it when they put a nice little design on the screen there. Adds a little flair. If you can do it, it's not too expensive. It doesn't make my IEM cost $1 million. Please, yeah, I like the design. Let's go with that. All right. So guys, I talked about how much I like the cable, but why do I like the cable? Well, it's not holding much memory, has a nice weight to it. It has a high quality feel. It feels like a good ratio of metal to plastic that doesn't make it, too stiff. The strands flow across each other very nicely. And yeah, this is a hallmark of a good cable right here. We got a functioning chin cinch, neither too loose nor too tight. And yeah, overall, I would say that the look and feel on these guys is very, very solid. It's kind of a plain design. If that works for you, and if it doesn't, that's up to you. For me, I like to have something a little bit more subdued if I'm going out, so that can work for me. Also, must say that I find that it's pretty well ventilated. I didn't have any issues with suction, no driver flex or anything like that, which is a big deal to me. So very happy not to see any stuff like that. We do have to talk about the nozzles. Those are the last goodies that I have yet to mention in this video. So we come with 3 tuning nozzles, right? We got the silver, which actually come on the set. I guess that's the Canon tuning. And then we got the black, which is a slight bit bassier. It, veils the treble a little bit more over the silver guy. Then we got the gold, And if you want more treble, a little bit more mid-range, a mid-range spike, a little bit of a treble spike, hey, we got our gold. Interestingly enough, it also gives you a bit of a 6K dip. So this is what worked out the best for me. You might find it a little bit shouty. If you do, go back to the silver. But for me, this was a nice, perfect balance. It gave me a soft V, and that's sort of what I'm looking for in most of my sets. Neutral, soft V, warm, kind of neutral. That is my preferred sound signature. I could do anything in that range, right? So we have the 3 tuning nozzles. I'm going to be using gold while I give you my sound impressions, and we'll get right. It has a 2 dynamic driver, 2 balanced armature driver configuration, and that's allowing it to do some pretty cool things when it comes to layering, when it comes to making sure that all of the frequencies are well represented, right? So we have the 10 millimeter polyurethane plus LCP driver here, giving us our sub bass canvas. And then we have an 8 millimeter diamond like carbon dynamic driver, kind of giving us that punch and that slam that we need to, get that visceral textured bass experience that a lot of people like, right? If you want a visceral and textured bass experience, go with the Quatio. If that sounds like a bit much for you, it's not neutral, it's more of a bass boosted neutral. So do understand this is a pretty bassy set. You can make it even bassier if you put that black nozzle on it. But yeah, that's the reason I have the gold nozzle on there in the first place, is because the bass is fairly prominent. I needed to balance it out a little, make it a bit more of a soft V, more to my preference. But yeah, the mid bass slams on this thing. I was listening to Uprising by Muse, and every time the kick drum went, it felt like it was slamming right into my forehead. So I would say that you have a really nice, visceral, impactful mid bass experience here that I think a lot of people are going to like. So despite me sticking that gold nozzle on there, I would not call the mid-range recessed by any means. I found male vocals to be fairly natural and warm and rich. It's a bassy set, so that mid bass kind of helps with the deepest frequencies in the male vocal range. And yeah, they felt like they were in line with everything else. They did not feel recessed by any means, which makes me very happy because I like to have nice, clear, natural vocals on my sets. Female vocals especially shine here, given those gold nozzles, giving that mid-range spike. They sound sweet and holographic. They're hovering just a little bit over the rest of the sound, which I kind of like in the female vocals. This can get a tiny bit shouty on some tracks, but if you find that that's the case for you, silver nozzles are right there. You can smooth it out that way. I actually really like the nozzle swapping system we have here. There's a difference between the nozzles, which is not always the case when you have swappable tuning nozzles. So that was just a very nice thing to see. In the mid-range, speaking of the mid-range, we have guitars that sound natural. They have a nice bite, some edge to them with the stringed instruments. We got the gold nozzle again doing work in that department, giving us a little bit of extra edge over the silver nozzles, a little bit more female vocal presence. Piano strike with precision and clarity. It also makes everything, like I said, a tad bit more V-shaped, but the female nozzles definitely benefit from that. I really like the way electric guitars, stringed instruments sounded once I put those gold nozzles on, got that little upper mid-range spike. Gives you that edge and that bite that you want sometimes, well, that I want a lot of times for rock music. Gives those female vocals that, slightly hovery sound that I was talking about before. Overall, I really like the presentation when it comes to the mid-range on the Quatio. I think it does everything in a fairly balanced way, and it gives you the customization options that you need if you'd like to change anything. I think that's pretty cool. And so far as the treble goes, the Quatio has excellent micro details for a set under $150, especially when you put those gold nozzles on there and really lets the treble through, allows it to shine and sparkle. It's quick, exacting, controlled treble, and that's the biggest upgrade over like the Kefine Clean, right? We got one single dynamic driver doing all the work here, and over here we got 4 different drivers, each playing their own part. Gives you a lot better treble control, leads to a more resolved sound. I highly prefer. So the treble, there's a steep roll off after 10 kilohertz that kind of keeps it from being too airy. It doesn't give you the same kind of ring, something that would extend all the way to the other end of the sound frequency spectrum would. But it's still very nice treble presentation that is non-fatiguing, that I think sounds very clean. It's not particularly airy, but I don't need all that much air all the time anyway. So, yeah, I kind of like the treble in this guy. Alrighty, to round things out here, I just wanted to kind of take a quick comparison to a few other sets in the price range that you might be considering versus the Quatio. We're going to start out with Supermix 4 from SimGot. It's a very popular set. It's kind of a Harman sound to it. It follows the Harman curve, except for in the mid range and the mid bass. It kind of gives you a little bit of an elevation, which is why I prefer it over most Harman tune sets. The only thing is it has a bit of a 5K peak in the upper mid range that kind of gets fatiguing, a little bit uncomfortable after long listening sessions, and that's not an issue that I have with the Quatio. So between these two, I like the Quatio more customizability options. The Supermix has a cool sound signature, but it's not one that I can listen to for a very long time, unfortunately. Moving up the ladder, though, we have the Apple Explorer. Now, these are comparable in that they're both very bassy sets. I love the way the Explorer fits. It melts into your head. It's one of the most comfortable sets that I own, to be quite frank. The Kefine, also very comfortable, but not melt into your head comfortable. There is a difference. This is good. This is great, right? Comfortable as the Explorer is, though, it has more of a veiled treble presence, not enough treble energy, upper mid-range energy for me personally. A little bit less exciting for me when I'm listening to my music. Kefine has the energy in the upper part of the sound frequency spectrum that I need. Keep things sounding alive, energetic, keeps me interested. Explorer doesn't get that much playtime out of me for that reason, because I simply need more treble than the Explorer can offer me. That's why it's cool, once again, to have the tuning nozzles on the Quatio. If they had just come with the black tuning nozzles, I wouldn't have as nice things to say about it. I like to hear all the parts of the sound frequency spectrum, relatively evenly. So I'm really glad they put those tuning nozzles on there to, maximize compatibility with everyone's sound preferences. So the final comparison I wanted to make for you was the Juizier X Z Reviews Defiant. Defiant has become my go-to recommendation in the $100 price point. I find that it's a really nice, fun, accessible sound that a lot of people are going to like. Compared to the Quatio, Quatio is a cleaner sound. It's a more resolving sound. It has better micro details. If you're looking for something more analytical but still fun and bassy, Quatio would be the way to go. If you're looking for a fun and accessible tuning right out of the package that you don't have to work too hard for with tuning nozzles, then the Defiant is probably a good choice for you. It's hard to go wrong in either respect. I do think that the Quatio has a better fit overall. The Defiant, can be a bit difficult for these smaller eared individuals out there, and I think you're going to have a better time with the Quatio in that regard. That's it. Thank you so much for checking this out, guys. This is my first video review, my first YouTube video, so I really appreciate your support and you coming out and seeing what I got going on over here. Also, a huge thanks to HIFiGo for sending this little guy over for review. I'm going to leave a non-affiliate link over in the description so you can check it out if you'd like to. I also write reviews over on Reddit on r/IEMs. Name is Easily Great. So if you ever want to check out any of my written stuff, you could do that too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.